everyone, this is Lisa at LMD Stampin'. Thank you for joining me. Today we're going to make this vintage card, or one similar to it, and I'm going to show you a few really neat things that I learned online, like how to make this flower using your scallop punch, and a easy way to center your oval on your scallop oval. Let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is take our 8.5 by 5.5 Whisper White cardstock, and we're going to score it at 4 1/4 and fold that in half. It's a standard A2 card. We're going to use our bone folder to get a nice crisp crease in that. Our first layer, sorry I moved the camera. Our first layer is 4 by 5 1/4. On this card I didn't really use 2 layers. I used 1, and I stamped a background all over my Whisper White cardstock. As you can see, it's not perfect, but it's okay. For this card, I'm going to use a sheet of Designer Series papers that comes out of the Simply Scrapping Love Sparkle is what I believe it's called. And as you notice, I have started the spiral punch on here. So we're going to go ahead and finish that. When you're using your spiral punch, I would say it's better to use it upside down. And you want to line up your last punch with, there's a little what do you call it? A little metal piece that makes this section right here. Oops, that's out of the camera. That's right here. So you want to line up your last hole with that and push the punch all the way in, and then punch, and that gives you nicely spaced spiral holes. Then I'm going to chalk this piece in Regal Rose using our Stampin' Pastel chalks. These chalks are great. What I really like about them is the versatility I get with them. If you are limited, I highly recommend having a classic black stamp pad or chocolate chip or something like that that's pretty neutral, and then something versatile like this pastel, Stampin' Pastels, and that way you have all of the color families and colors to play with. There, I think we got that. And you don't have to be, perfect with it. And then we're going to take this sheet of paper and crumple it up. Get it good and crumpled. And then open that. And flatten it out as good as you can. There we go. And then we're going to take our Snell adhesive. I've got some chalk on the back of that, but that's okay. Oops. Put that on there and apply that to the card. Now if you want it, you could also chalk your card itself. Okay, and you want to center that pretty well there. And lay that down. There we go. Just like that. Now we're going to make the scallop oval and sentiment. And as you see on here, my word friendship, I actually did that by taking this Perfect Plum Stampin' Right marker and using the Always stamp set. I took the sentiment stamp from there. As you can see, it has, oops, gosh, I keep going out of camera, sorry about that. All I wanted was the friendship. So you take your marker and I'm not going to do it right now. And you just want to color in that section that you want, and then stamp that on your paper. I've done that for this card already. I've made an oval using my, oh, what in the world is this? Oh, my Pretty in Pink Stampin' Right marker. It's too close. And the stamp set I used for that is this beautiful stamp set Always that I had been wanting for a while. Oh, you can't see that. I think I may have my camera too close to my work surface area. So here's the sentiment stamp from that set. So I took my Pretty in Pink marker and just colored in Always on My Mind, and then stamped that on a piece of Whisper White. I'm going to chalk this also in the Regal Rose. Okay. Now to get this perfectly centered on your scallop, you're going to take your Snell adhesive, put some of that on there. Oops. And you're going to put that on a piece of your scrap, your coordinating scrap piece. I'm using Regal Rose cardstock. And you're just going to place it directly on there like that. So then you center your sentiment on that. Oops. I can do this. And then punch that out. And there you go. I also want to chalk that in the Regal Rose. Okay, the next thing we want to do is get our ribbon onto this layer. I've decided to use this Old Olive satin ribbon. I need to measure that out. About where I think, how much I think I'll need. Now as you see on this one, I actually have the ribbon going through the card and all the way around, because I didn't have a, well, I could have put it directly on here, but I decided to do it that way on this card, and I actually made a bow. For this one, I think we're just going to do a simple bow. So I'm only going to cut about that much. One of the things I like to do is put some adhesive on the back of my layer where my ribbon's going to go. And this can be tricky because you want to be able to move your ribbon where you want it, so don't press it down just yet till you've decided exactly where you want that ribbon to be. So I'm thinking I'm going to do it right there in the center like I did the other bow. Or maybe a little off-centered, just slightly. So I can lift that up. And the reason I like to add a little adhesive to the back is to help me with the ribbon, so it's not sliding all over the place. About right there. Bring my left over my right, under, through the hole, and pull. Okay, that's a little better. Not perfect, but it's better. And then I'm going to clip my end.